Alright guys, RagingRowen here. Today I'm gonna be reviewing Street Fighter 6 World Tour mode. With like 60 plus hours into the game. You know that I've been really dedicated to it. I've gone through it, I've gone through the post game, I've gone through done all the masters, you know, but I've got my criticisms, so I'm gonna be reviewing it. First thing I'm gonna nitpick is the story and the main missions. So spoiler alerts, because I have a lot to say. So World Tour starts with you and fellow student Bosch hitting the streets. You're going around doing training stuff for Luke, which is essentially just tutorials like fighting NPCs, like getting food, getting equipment. You eventually get enrolled as Luke's student, but Bosch decides he has other plans and says to, run off and leave the course. But not for saying he wished he could have had a rematch with you. And when this happened, I thought it was gonna be they were trying to set up as your rival, like a frenemy sort of ideal where he comes back stronger and wants to fight, but well, that's sort of what happens. Next time you meet Bosch, he's stealing cash from Mad Gear, and this leads you into doing chores for Mad Gear, with an appearance of Damned from the original Final Fight, which is cool to see. Anyways, these chores include, but aren't limited to, searching for the aforementioned bag, and your character, in his infinite wisdom, thinks they just want the bag. We'll get back to this later. You're eventually told that Bosch is headed to England. You find him with the cash, but then Julia arrives to kick you and Bosch to pieces. And then she steals Bosch and drives off, but Bosch also gives you this mysterious data card. Anyways, we take a break from Bosch for a little bit to enter a tournament that was foreshadowed previously. This is part of our search for strength, a common thing that's brought up throughout the story as well. So after reaching the tournament, and then signing up for the Novice League, and then meeting these mysterious fellows, and then delivering the mysterious data card to Chun-Li's computer-savvy student Lee Fen, you enter the tournament, and after brawling through your foes, it turns out the larger of the two mysterious fellows, Rewancher, is your final opponent. You slay him and win the tournament, but sadly, the rest of the tournament gets cancelled. You return to Lee Fen, who says she discovered these images of posters related to numbers for a passcode. You find them into the passcode and add this asterisk guy to your contacts. He's basically on the phone for Bosch, but you're on the hunt for him, and he'll give you information if you, get intel on fires and such, but we'll touch on this later on. Anyways, after a few fighter meetings, the asterisk guy tells you to infiltrate the under construction SIRN building. You're doing this to get a lab coat, and then a name card that was stuck inside a refrigerator. Not as exciting of a mission as I had hoped. And it turns out this is just so you can get intel on Guile. Eventually, the guy tells you that Bosch originates from Naishal and is part of the anti-government resistance group, and was using the cash to help his buddies, I guess sort of a Robin Hood scenario. And he was gonna meet up with resistance members, but Jury went ahead and snatched him, as we know already. Anyways, after a mission where you have to save Lee Fen from Mad Gear, who wants to know what's in the data card too, followed up by a brawl with Mad Gear, culminating in a fight with Damned, your next stop is Old Naishal. And after a violent encounter with Bosch's younger sister Yua, you learn that Rewancha and Kalima, the aforementioned mysterious fellows, are part of the Naishal resistance. And Kalima talks about how JP is using the Survival Hell martial arts tournament to launder money for a criminal organization, presumably consisting of Shadowloo remnants. I presume that because that's what Lee Fen thinks after scouring through the data card a bit more. And she also finds out that they're hosting a tournament in the lowlands of Naishal that acts as a qualifier for the Survival Hell martial arts tournament that was aforementioned. And gangs are coming in from all over the world to participate in it. And Mad Gear appears to be one of those gangs, along with rivaling gang The Crows. So it seems like to get into the tournament you gotta become a rep of Mad Gear. You talk to Damned and he tells you that the cash that Bosch stole was apparently their entry fee to the tournament. Yet they're still entering somehow, I don't know. He's fine with you representing them, but not only are you gonna be a rep of Mad Gear, but you're gonna be a rep of Metro City, as long as you take care of the aforementioned crows. So you head over to the crow's desk to beat them up, and then you meet their boss, Mr. Rudra, and he tells you it's gonna be crows versus Mad Gear in a 4v4 battle to determine who's gonna be the Metro City rep. Dam decides that you'll be the team captain and sends you to go find team members. You head over to Night Shell, and just when you think you found somebody, this fighter hunter guy comes in and whips him. This mysterious foe seems to be injected with psycho power. He runs off, but you make chase and engage in a one-on-one battle that ends with him running off into the sunset. Anyways, Dam sets up with some candidates for who's gonna be in your corner, so you go ahead and make your choices. You go back to Dam, and he's the third member. So that's your team settled. And here we go, 4v4. You and your boys versus Rudra and his lackeys. And it's CPU versus CPU matches for the first 3 rounds. I wonder what would happen if your boys lost. I don't think it really matters anyways, because if Rudra loses to you, it seems like you end up being the city rep anyways. As you may have guessed, you fight against Rudra in the final round, you slay him, and boom, you're tournament bound now. So you enter the tournament, and you slay your foes. In a tournament notably longer than the Novice League from earlier, you successfully qualify for the Survival Hall Martial Arts Tournament. But you also get a bit of face-to-face with the cardboard combatant from earlier, confirming that he'll be in the tournament as well. You return to Lee Fan, who's cracked that the data card has stuff related to the Night Shell resistance, and she finds out they were responsible for the cancellation of the tournaments from around the globe, including the Novice League tournament from earlier on, and this is to stop JP's money laundering scheme going towards the Survival Hall tournament. Suddenly a message comes in saying, "That pizza we had during our training sure was good, huh? And where did you get pizza earlier on in the story?" The food truck, of course. You go over there and, lo and behold, it tells you that the guy's gonna be waiting at the SRN building rooftop. And we all know what happens on rooftops in video games, don't we? Yeah? The actual fight with him doesn't seem to be that much harder this time around. But you and the cardboard combatant trade blows, and ooh, look who it is. It's Mr. Bosch. He compliments how strong you've got and goes on about how, you know, sorry that I doubted you, like that sort of stuff. But the psycho power starts to, you know, take over him again. And I thought, oh, this is gonna be, we're gonna go for a round 2. Is it gonna be a real fight? But he just runs off. So if I'm correct, he was taken in by Neo Shadowloo for psycho power experiments and that sort of stuff. And now he's coming into the Survival Hall Martial Arts Tournament representing them. And Bosch wants to watch you finish his fight at the Survival Hall Tournament. And after this crazy item hunt, the Resistance makes you go to Mount Vishal where the tournament's gonna be held. And once you make it to their secret hideout inside, they tell you that they're gonna use a replica of the championship belt to blow up JP. And Bosch is gonna be the one accepting the belt and detonating it. And the parts you collected are for a safety pin, but they already removed it from the belt. And then you beat the crap out of Rewancha, presumably because you're not happy with them putting Bosch's life on the line. And then they're like, okay, here's the safety pin, put it back in if you want. And that's what you try to do, you try to put it back in, but JP stops and is like, have a nice evening, and you're just like, oh, fuck it, not today. Alright then. So, you enter the tournament, you power through your foes. Eventually, fate decides you'll be facing Bosch in the grand finals. It all comes down to this. See your journey through to its end. He's probably the hardest opponent in the story outside of side missions. He's the only one with a super of his own, and it's like borderline zone unavoidable, but you power through, and that's the tournament's over. So the plan was for Bosch to go down with JP, but seems like JP has other plans, decides to have you present the belt, and JP obviously knows about the belt, and then he goes ding, and then he sends it to Yoa, and Bosch does not approve. He goes haywire, he grabs it, tries to throw it away, but then kaboom, down he goes. Everyone runs while you mourn his charcoal corpse while JP makes mock of the situation. So Bosch is dead, and that just makes you go, okay, I want to fight you, Mr. JP, and then, you know, unless it's your final battle, you know, after being, he's like, what's the meaning of this battle? And he's like, none of this means anything at all. It's very cliffhangery, but like yeah, that's the ending right there. That's it. Roll credits, you know. On a quick side note, it's pretty cool that it shows like your evolution with like your equipment you wore in each scene. Anyways, then there's this after credit scene where Luke is all like, yeah, I hear you, but, mate, your student just effing died, bro. Anyways, he asks if that's the end of your journey, and you're like, nah, cause like, you're still searching for strength, and then Luke's like, this journey doesn't have real ending, we're all going down like an endless path, you know? And that's how the story ends. But not before it's saying, what is strength? We still don't have the answer. Or do we? Because there is one more story mission that unlocks how to complete the game, and that's find an answer to the question, what is strength? And it turns out all you have to do is talk to the influencer and tell him you found strength, and then he tells you, you know, seek out the battle hub to fight stronger opponents and such, and congratulations. Outside of our little mission with like, where you bring the momentum to Yua, that's the story, full stop. The story can pretty much be summed up like this. Search for Bosch, enter tournament, search for Bosch, enter tournament, find Bosch, enter tournament, Bosch dies, beat JP, ends. And that kind of brings me to my first main issue, and that's Bosch. For someone who's supposed to be a prominent character in the story, he really doesn't get enough proper screen time. And I just don't get rival vibes from him, you know? He's not the guy you should watch out for that I thought he would be. And the whole thing about searching for him makes him feel more like a damsel in distress you gotta find and save. He's away for a good chunk of the story too. He gets napped at the end of chapter 5, and he doesn't come back until chapter 11 where he's the Cowboys combatant. There's 15 chapters in total, so that means it's like a third of the story. And that brings me to the second issue, and that's the Masters and other characters in the story. And my gripe with the Masters is that they just kinda, you know, stand there. This is fun for the side mission Masters like Lily and Cammy, but Ken was screwed over by JP in an A-Shell incident, but he's just, you know, lying in a construction site. When Jury made her appearance to kidnap Bosch, I thought, oh, she's gonna be a big deal later on. Is she going to like fight her again to get Bosch back? But no, she's just lurking in a back alley after a side mission later on. There's build-up and tension towards Kimberly's appearance in the SIRN mission, so I thought, she's gonna play a bigger role later on, right? But nah, she's just lurking on a random rooftop. Remember when I said I'd get back to the bag? Well, you gotta create a replica, and to finish it off, you gotta go to Marissa so she can craft the last piece for it. And that's her role in the story, ladies and gentlemen. And Honda, Guile, and Ryu just have their photos taken for intel from Mr. Asterisk. I know it would have been tough to have them all have a proper role in the story, but come on, man. When it comes to the other characters, it's cool to see Lee Fan and the likes of Dan show up, but I don't give many Fs for Kalima or Rewanja or Rudra or Chandi. I just don't think much of them, you know? But that's gonna be my opinion on the main story. Let's get on to the rest of the boat, shall we? But that's gonna occur in part 2. It's been pretty rough going, haven't got much time to get to this review. I'm gonna save the rest of the review until later. But I'll go on about like the side missions, sort of other nitpicks I have, you know. Anyways, RagingRowen is out in 3, 2, 1...